Mr. President, council members, and participants, we are now live.
Thank you, and good afternoon. We're going to reconvene this morning's hearing. Our next witness to testify on this hearing will be Dr. Guy Generals, President of CCP. Dr. Generals, just please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony, please. Dr. General's on.
You're on. He's on mute.
Let me rewind and say that again. Thank you, President Clark. My name is Dr. Guy Generals, and I am the President for Community College of Philadelphia.
Good morning.
And we also have our chairwoman of the Budget Committee, Lydia Hernandez. Lydia?
Yes. Good afternoon, Chairman, President Clark, and the distinguished members of City Council. I am Lydia Hernandez Velez, and I am the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees. I'm here on behalf of Jeremiah White, who could not attend today's hearings, but trusted me to represent myself and the colleagues of our Board of Trustees. The role of the Board of Trustees is to guide and support the work of Dr. Generals and the staff of Community College of Philadelphia. So we're proud to be here today to highlight the work of the college over the past year, especially during this very, very challenging and trying year for our students, our faculty, our staff, and the board. The evidence of what the college is doing is really highlighted by our virtual graduation this past Saturday. Over 3,700 graduates from both the classes of 2020 and 2021 were represented. 2020 included 1,916 graduates earning 1,822 degrees and 250 certificates. The class of 2021 included 1,791 graduates earning 1,732 degrees and 81 certificates. We know that our student success doesn't stop once they leave CCP. Many of our graduates pursue bachelor's degrees. From the class of 2021, Temple, Drexel, Whitted Mercy, Jefferson, Cheney, University of Massachusetts, Eastern, Westchester, and significantly, Oxford Brookes University, England. Others have entered the workforce in in-demand careers, and most who end up working stay right here in the Philadelphia region, giving the boost to our economy and fueling. We know a college education and credential is increasingly important in today's workplace. That's why we're encouraged by the direction in which the college is headed. Expanded affordability through the Cato Scholarship for first-time, full-time college students, tuition free. That is significant, and it's an important program for our future in the city. Continuing dual enrollment, which Dr. Haidt cited in his testimony earlier today, for students in high school. New programs such as public health in areas where students are interested in studying. With the financial assistance and continued support, we can ensure more students are connected to a transformative opportunity at Community College of Philadelphia. And we appreciate your commitment to our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. It's good seeing you again. Doctor, you want to proceed with your testimony?
Make sure I'm off mute. Thank you, Mr. President. The City Council and you have a written copy of our testimony, so I'm just going to summarize the high points if you don't mind. Each year, Community College of Philadelphia submits a budget request for the upcoming fiscal year. Like the city, the college has endured considerable challenges as a result of COVID-19. Nevertheless, we have managed those challenges and look forward to resuming life as we knew it as a vibrant and engaging educational and campus community. As the city's college, we provide a vital pipeline for homegrown talent to the city's workforce, and we embrace the importance of the college to the city's recharge and recovery efforts. The college is requesting a total of $48.1 million from the City of Philadelphia for this fiscal year. This allocation includes $8.8 million for the continued support of the Cato Scholarship and a base operations amount of $39.3 million. The college is not asking for additional operating dollars. Since fiscal year 17-18, the college has been able to avoid an increase in tuition and fees for students. On March 13th of 2020, all face-to-face instruction, student support, and student life ended. Within 10 days, the college moved the operations of the entire college into a virtual environment. This involved converting curriculum, training faculty, training students, modifying services, and increasing services and resources for students. I should say increasing by way of virtual means services and resources for students, including such basic needs and services as housing, support, food, tuition, books, childcare, and transportation. Over the course of the last year and 2 months, we've loaned out 1,800 laptops and provided hotspots for both students as well as some faculty and staff. To date, the college has received $53.5 million from the federal government and nearly $2 million from the state. Of the total amount, half has been allocated for the various student support needs as mentioned. We just received notice just hours before this testimony this afternoon, this morning, that the Biden administration's rescue plan will release stimulus dollars, which will include $55.4 million for Community College of Philadelphia. What's most notable from the Biden plan is that it will allow support for undocumented students and DACA students, which was not the case with the Trump plans. And by the way, the first round of the stimulus package was very restrictive. It only applied to students who were Pell recipients and students who had not previously been online students. The second round was a little more liberal. It applied to all students, and we were also able to begin recovering some lost revenue. And now the Biden plan seems to be the most realistic for the challenges that we have to face given the COVID-19 situation. In partnership with the Mayor's Office, we were able to launch the Octavius Cato Scholarship. The run-up to the program began in the fall of 2020, and classes began in January of 2021, which was our spring semester. This transformative scholarship offers first-time, full-time students the opportunity to attend college tuition-free. Our first cohort of 128 students includes students from various backgrounds and students who hail from across the city. Combining last dollar funding with wraparound support services, the Octavius Cato Scholarship is an evidence-based opportunity to address poverty in Philadelphia through higher education. The college is able to offer an education tuition-free to first-time, full-time college students. Cato scholars also receive personalized support, including advising and coaching and financial resources for food and books. Over time, the Cato Scholarship is predicted to increase student enrollment and retention, enhance college accessibility, and decrease gaps in student outcomes related to race, ethnicity, and gender. In conjunction with the Mayor's Office and with the support of the Cato Scholarship, the college will address important social justice issues affecting our neighborhoods and communities. One, the college will address the ongoing challenges associated with men of color. We will make a considerable investment to expand our outreach by way of our Center through Male Engagement, and two, in alignment to organizations designed to support and advance the academic and workforce success needs for men of color. And two, we will design pathways to encourage students into pursuing teacher education programs for the purpose of serving the educational needs of the city of Philadelphia moving forward. A very typical story of a Cato scholar comes from Chelsea Hammond, a 30-year-old scholar living in Holmesburg. Chelsea details her experience in a monthly blog she writes for the college website. She writes that she once struggled with addiction and found herself homeless. After she overcame her addiction, she decided to head back to school and was notified that she was eligible for the Cato Scholarship. Now, Chelsea is majoring in paralegal studies and hopes to help those with similar experiences in passing through the legal system. She continues, and I quote, "Everyone that I have met has been extremely friendly and helpful. My success coach set me up with services based on my needs, both personal and educational related. It is nice having someone in your corner to turn to when you are just starting school," unquote. I love this scholarship, and I am so thankful that I was qualified to receive it. Support for the Cato Scholarship has allowed the college to extend dual enrollment opportunities. The first cohort, which was mentioned earlier, of middle college students, approximately 900 students from the Parkway Central program, will graduate in May 2021 with the associate's degree in liberal arts, which of course points to the obvious that they're getting their college degree before they've completed high school, which will come in another couple of weeks, I guess. These students have been accepted into over 117 colleges and universities around the nation. To date, they have secured over $10 million in scholarship dollars. They have been accepted. They will make decisions in the coming weeks, and they will be rising juniors. And they will also have the total of $10 million in scholarship monies. But in addition to the Parkway Central Middle College, approximately 10 high school students from the Mast Community Charter School will also graduate with associate's degrees. One graduate, Daisy McDonough, is graduating with a 4.0 GPA and is attending Union College in Lincoln, Nebraska with a major in international rescue and relief. She plans to attend graduate school and become a physician assistant. In terms of capital improvements, we broke ground on the $40 million, 75,000 square foot Career and Advanced Technology Center in West Philadelphia that will provide training for in-demand career pathways. The CATC, as we refer to it, will offer an expanded suite of technical programs including diesel technology, alternative fuels, advanced manufacturing, computer numerical controls, welding, and a number of allied health programs including medical tech, surgical tech, emergency medical technician, dental technician, and certified nurse assistant. In addition, we will complete the renovated $17 million project of our library and learning commons, which is on the main campus. By the end of June of this year, improvements will include multimedia and technology rooms, a study lounge with a cafe, several multi-use spaces for individual and small group study, and a collaborative maker space where students and faculty can gather to develop creative projects. Job trends and needed career skills are considered when developing workforce development programming in both non-credit and degree programming. The college partners with leaders in key industries, which helps inform some of its programs in key growth areas. These program opportunities include the Pathway to Advanced Manufacturing program, which offers training in the areas of computer numerical controls, precision machining, DC-AC, electricity, and welding technology. The Career Readiness Soft Skills Pre-Apprenticeship Program, which teaches the critical soft skills, or some refer to as power skills, needed to find and keep employment. The Industrial Maintenance Technician Pre-Apprenticeship Program, designed to prepare participants for entry-level employment in manufacturing careers like hydraulics, industrial electricity, and mechanical components. And the Biomedical Technician Training Program, a partnership with the Wistar Institute that offers students a structured path toward research technician careers through courses at the college and supervise hands-on laboratory experiences at the Wistar Institute, which is an affiliated training site. You may have read in recent months, alum Yaha Dia has gained experience by working in a lab at the Wistar that is devising strategies to combat COVID-19. He has worked alongside colleagues with advanced degrees. Of his experience, he says, "I would say the advantage of being within the program is that it opens many doors. I certainly enjoy what I'm doing, but for me, this is a sort of transitioning or step." He plans to go on to become a physician assistant. "I want to work in the medical field because I've always had passion for patients." Other continued professional education and career training offerings are provided year-round. Power Up Your Business is one such program that has been particularly successful and supported by the city. The college-led initiative provides education training and targeted assistance for the small businesses that serve as drivers in the neighborhood economy. The initiative's Store Owner Series includes free workshops on topics such as social media strategy, financial management, understanding city taxes, and other areas. In Power Up's 4.5-year existence, 284 businesses have participated and 13 cohorts have graduated. This is particularly effective for Black and brown businesses. 81% of the businesses, on average, are minority-owned, and 71% are women-owned. And the curriculum has been translated into Spanish, Russian, and Mandarin, with one cohort operating fully in Spanish. In addition, the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program at the college continues to provide business development opportunities for area businesses. We anticipate a return to campus in 2021. As the COVID-19 vaccine becomes more and more widely available, the college is moving ahead with plans to bring as many staff, students, and faculty back to campus as safely as possible for the fall 2021 semester. Return to campus plans will vary by program and office, and some classes will remain remote, while others will be hybrid or face-to-face. However, the health and safety of our college community will remain our top priority and will guide decision-making. The college will continue to follow guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, both city and state. The college has been open for essential on-campus services since summer of 2021. It's very skeletal staff, and expanded cleaning protocols were put in place in March of 2021 and will continue. More recently, the college has enlisted the services of industrial hygienist company and engineering firm Pannoni here in Philadelphia. A team of Pannoni certified industrial hygienists and registered environmental health professionals will work with the college leadership to ensure the college remains a safe, healthy, and welcoming place as more people return to campus. Specifically, Pannoni will review existing college documents, including the contact tracing plan, cleaning disinfection protocols, and others, and make recommendations on best practices. Help develop plans for reopening based on CDC guidelines, which may include public areas and classroom spacing and occupancy, food service areas, clearing disinfection, sports and activities, lab programs, and environmental safety, conducted walkthroughs, inspections of buildings on campus to evaluate signage, physical barriers, social distancing, and other issues, and administer environmental testing when needed. The college has also encouraged individuals who are able to be vaccinated to wear masks and continue to social distance, and anticipates the day when all faculty and staff and students are safely returning to campus to teach and learn alongside one another. So we're looking forward to that day. Certainly your support will help us to be able to make that transition back to face-to-face reality here on campus. And with that, I certainly entertain any questions you may have. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you very much, Dr. General. I had a couple of questions. You referenced 2021 as a timeline for getting students back in classes. I know the school district today said they'd have their students back in classes in the fall of 2021. I hear that you kind of indicated it will be based on different characteristics as it relates to the type of course, the ability to do it hybrid. We have heard from some universities around the country a vaccine requirement. Has there been any conversations about both students and possibly faculty about requiring vaccines?
There's been conversation, but there's been no agreement as to whether or not that's something we should do. Things have changed, though, because I know Pfizer is now moving from the emergency approval to a regular approval, and I think that changes the dynamics of the conversation, because that has been the basic concern, that it was an emergency base. But as of this point, we have focused on education and encouraging, and we have a fairly extensive and exhaustive communication plan, helping our faculty, staff, and students to identify places where they can get the vaccine, where they can get regularly tested. We are in conversations with Vive to set up a vaccine shot site here on the campus. Okay. But in conversation with the other community colleges, I know the four-year colleges and universities are doing it. Many of them have healthcare facilities, so that makes it a little bit different. And they also have housing, which we don't. So that also makes a difference. So no final decision has been made. We're leaning towards not having a mandate and just encouraging everybody to get the vaccine. Okay,
and you say you will have something on site, because I know
we are
associated with this vaccine generally here of late. It's pretty amazing. Literally have to be in people's houses, knocking on their door, asking them to please get vaccinated. So
we have students come to the school. We want to set up a situation where they come to register. If they haven't been vaccinated, we can send them down the hall to get a vaccine. So we are talking with Vive down the street, and I think we'll probably be able to set that up in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, good. So we talk about upscaling. I know that's something that a number of us, probably all of us, are very interested in. I know there's people out there that upscale in hopes of eventually being council people. I'm not gonna
we have a special program just for that.
I'm not going to talk about any particular category, but we're particularly interested in that for a couple of reasons. I know I am. And I know a couple of our members are actually working on an upscaling initiative, and I won't talk about that. I'm sure they will today. Our ability to do that, I think, is twofold. One, obviously, it helps the person who has a better opportunity, both enhancement of their personal well-being, their wealth, and all the other things associated with upscaling and having better opportunities. But also, I think it frees up opportunities for entry-level jobs. And we see so many people that have, with this a little bit of training, a little bit of certification, and actually move to another level where the pay scale will be much more significant. We actually talked to the recreation department in our hearings this week about individuals that are volunteering at recreation centers across the city of Philadelphia, heads of advisory councils, people that they do all the work of Rec Leader 1s, but they don't get paid. That's why we're particularly interested in that. Can you just say a little bit more about what you have done and what you look forward to doing as it relates to upskilling opportunities?
Specific to city government, we do have a relationship with city government where we provide accounting training and bookkeeping and some other basic level. I mean, they're not necessarily basic supports, but some basic level supports. We have some experiential learning opportunities where students can be tested out. We have a complete portfolio of programs and courses that are unique to City Hall, but of course across the city. I don't know if Carol DeFries is on the call. Maybe you can add some meat behind that, Carol, if she's there.
Sorry, I'm trying to unmute.
You're unmuted.
She muted herself again.
You're good. You were good. Try it again. There you go.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to address you today. Yes, in terms of a lot of the entry-level programs that require post-secondary training after high school, but don't necessarily require an associate's degree, we have a variety of programs across our manufacturing, transportation, and logistics industry sector, the healthcare sector, business and finance, and also in the education and social services area. So an example on the manufacturing side are our programs in welding, in CNC and electromechanical. We also just started a pre-apprenticeship in industrial maintenance mechanic. And also, we, as Dr. Generals mentioned in his opening remarks, we're able to offer a Pathways to Manufacturing grant opportunity as well to allow individuals to learn about entry-level manufacturing jobs. And that also is based on a model that has been implemented with the Manufacturing Association and also the industry partnership for the Southeastern Pennsylvania Manufacturing Association. We have programs such as a nurse assistant. We started a new dialysis technician program this spring that we were able to offer fully online, and we're now in our second cohort, and that's a partnered program with DaVita Dialysis. In addition to that, we offer programs such as Farm Tech and the Child Development Associates program. So we have a variety of programs that we're currently offering that are entry level, but also that we're in the process of developing as well as we move forward and learn more about what the growth opportunities are in the city of Philadelphia. So logistics is obviously a very important industry that's growing in the city, and we're working on a program regarding that. And we also offer a variety of just professional development programs to help existing employees upskill as well, so that they can then also move up within their own existing employment or maybe a career switch.
Can you talk about the agreements we have with the city?
In terms of working with the city of Philadelphia, we obviously we're working very closely with a number of different departments to hire CCP students directly out of a variety of our programs across the college. We worked successfully with the health department to hire contact tracers and also the Juvenile Justice Center as well. They just hired 8 individuals directly from CCP. So we are working very closely with the HR department and the administrative offices as well on the hiring needs for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And swimming along that theme, Dr. General, I hear that you've referenced the new state-of-the-art West Philadelphia campus. You will have a myriad of number of opportunities, and I'm very excited about that. Will similar courses as you referenced in the West Philadelphia campus be offered at the main campus? I know there will probably be a lot of people interested. All of those courses will be offered at the main campus?
Well, not all of them. It's heavy. The purpose is really heavy equipment, and right. Some of the less technical, or I should say less heavy equipment-based programs will be offered on campus. Some of the health science programs, we could do hybrids between all of our campuses, where some of the courses could be taken. But ultimately, the anchor programs there, students will have to go there, like auto technology or diesel training and technology, the advanced manufacturing. But all of our courses require some level of gen ed. They require some level of non-technical based courses or thematic based or theories. And those courses can, depending on enrollment, of course, can be offered at any place. And now, with our experience in virtual world, we've gotten very good in being able to provide educational direct training by way of virtual training. So yes.
Okay, so this is a long way of getting to a question that I really wanted to ask you. I know pre-COVID we were having discussions about expansion and actually utilizing a couple of school district buildings to do some expansion within those buildings, having a quote-unquote a 13th and 14th grade. And I understand that COVID has put a halt on a lot of things, but where are we at on that? We want to make sure it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because at some point we will get back to some level of normalcy. And had some encouraging news today by Dr. Farley. Where are we at?
The programmatic pieces of that are still moving forward. We just signed an agreement with the school district for the latest round of Perkins funding. And that includes articulations, that 12, 13, 14 articulation, as well as conversion of high school credits into college credits. The actual physical layout, basically those conversations have not moved forward, and we're anxious to get them started again. It requires face-to-face, but I think it's equally important that we have agreements and articulations with the district on the programmatic aspects. I don't know, Dave Thomas, I know you were heading that up. You have some specifics you can put behind that?
Certainly, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Yep. So I think specific to the partnership in the buildings, as you mentioned, President Clark, we have had initial conversations quite some time ago with Strawberry Mansion. You may remember those conversations. We got pretty close to doing some things there, and then some transitions happened there. I know the CUAs went into that building, so there were some changes there. We kind of halted some of those conversations and then revisited those discussions with the district specific to Dobbins. I have spoken very closely with Principal Damon there, and we have been having those conversations. To Dr. General's point, COVID did kind of put a halt to those things. Nevertheless, she and I have been conversing on a regular basis, as well as Michelle Armstrong at the district and all of the district staff related to CareerTech Ed. So we have been aligning those sorts of initiatives and really looking at the need that exists in those schools. We don't want to supplant any particular programming, but we definitely want to enhance that those sort of partnerships. But also working very closely with the Office of Academic Supports at the district, Dr. Malika Brooks, really talking closely around the programming that they want to see, specific to not just dual enrollment and career and tech ed, but also college and career readiness in general, and figuring out how we can do those sorts of programs both in the schools as well as on our campus and virtually.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Dr. Damon's leaving took I would call it a plum job, but in Cherry Hill. But I think she's going to regret it leaving our awesome school system here.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, but she's leaving, and we'll have a principal. So we probably want to re-engage the new principal. That conversation. I know another council member who's going to be testifying. I'm sure she'll bring that up about a school in her particular district. Where those similar conversations we're having about expanding some of these opportunities. We found out during the pandemic a lot of things, and one of the things that we found out that locally based opportunities, be it the vaccine or be it resources, everything you can imagine, the closer it is to that person, the more likely that person will take advantage of it. So, and I understand everything is about the dollar and the resources, and we're prepared to obviously work with you in any way, shape, or form to make sure these things happen, because we are behind from the smallest child in kindergarten to the child in postgraduate class. I mean, just because of the pandemic. So we look forward to working with you on that in a very aggressive way. Appreciate that. One last question, and then I'm going to turn it over. We were fortunate enough in the primary of last year, where most of the Democratic candidates were talking about free college, right? And it was a great soundbite, and one of the people that was talking about that, who actually finally came around to that, actually won. So from your perspective, when do we see that happening? We're excited to hear that the Cato's scholarship is working well, but we look for that day when another promise is made, another promise is kept by an elected official, when everybody can go to school free. So, Doc, can you kind of give me your perspective on when
Sure.
that could conceivably happen?
I think we have the wind to our back. I think those who are opposed to it are fighting against history and the momentum. This conversation has been going on, as you remember, since President Obama started in Tennessee back in 2008 or 9. Right now, about 25 states offer free colleges across the board, in some cases from 2-year to the 4-year institution. And then historically, we all know that high schools used to be a cost. They were private academies. So if you don't support it, you're going up against history as well as momentum, political momentum. And everybody knows somebody that goes to a community college. So it is really a bipartisan thing. Roughly half of all the undergraduates in the country are in community colleges. So I think the formula is complicated, where I think it's 3/4 federal government and 25% from the state government. And given the fact that state governments are, ours, for example, is controlled by the other party, that could make things complicated. But I think when you have cities like Philadelphia, you can arrange workarounds for that. I mean, we've taken the first, second, and third step along those ways with the Cato scholarship. Not only are we providing free tuition and fees, but we're also providing free support, and we're providing stipends for students. I don't know that Biden is talking about stipends, but we're providing stipends, which is an acknowledgement that students, especially from deprived or inner city backgrounds, need the support in order to be successful in college. They can't get here, or they can't find childcare, they don't have food or a place to live. You're never going to get through Composition 1. So I think that recognition really puts us ahead of the curve. They were here. We had a smaller free college, the 50th scholarship program, and the Bidens came to celebrate and to support that. So I know that they're big supporters. As you know, Jill Biden is a community college professor. And I think this really gives us an opportunity to lead the way and to shine across the country as it relates to the benefits of a free community college education to the community. So I'm hopeful. Things are a little crazy down in D.C. now,
Little crazy.
I got faith in Biden. He seems to know what he's doing. So we'll basically see. But like I said, I mean, the Cato scholarship really puts us in the front seat of this whole process and enables us to drive the process, I think. So that's what we're planning to do.
Great. Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Fiona Sanchez.
Thank you, Council President. And let me kind of double down on your free college assessment. Not only do I think we're ready for it, I think that Philadelphia's recovery is going to really depend on it. And I keep reminding folks that it is cheaper for the school district of Philadelphia to put a kid in at community college than it is to even keep them within their system. So whether we get state support or not, we should not be shy about taking an initiative of that type. And so I'm encouraged, and I also want to encourage the conversations around the Poverty Action Plan pre-COVID, where that, articulation of utilization of buildings and sharing space for the first time in a long time, the school district buildings will be open throughout the summer. We're hoping that we go back to where school district buildings are community anchors, and they're not only open in the summer, but they're open in the evening. And that's where that opportunity that President Clark talks about, because we want the young people to have access, but we also want their parents to have access and really look for that. And I know that Dr. Hyde and you talk about this often, but eventually we're going to have to make the investment, whether it's through a planning process or otherwise. So let me encourage you to pursue that, because I think, Council President, in our new normal budget, we're very much committed to making community college the workforce development arm of the city of Philadelphia. And so we should pursue that and double down on it. Really quickly, going back to the Cato Scholarship and its successes, what would you say are the constituencies or the buckets of folks that were not reaching or couldn't reach to Cato that would be like your next priority if we were to say, we have Cato, what's the other population that needs support, either from a retention perspective or just from the upskilling that Council President was talking about?
I think the sector that comes to mind immediately would be part-time students. You have to be full-time to be a recipient of this, and like me, many students couldn't afford to go to school full-time. They had to work and go to school part-time. So I think that would be an area, we've converted the 50th to that, to serve that population, but that's such a small amount. It doesn't nearly achieve, the desired success levels. I would say non-credit, the short-term training certificates would be an area that I'd like to see CATO support. We are converting some of, you can achieve Pell monies if you convert your program to a certain amount of clock hours. So we've done that with about 3 of the many programs that we have, but it's an arduous process and it's pretty complicated. I would say the current higher ed reauthorization has had that on the books for 10 years probably, and it's yet to get through. So for Cato, that would be something that I think if we could do that would certainly open up a lot of short-term training programs, certificate training programs for, a whole nother generation of students who could benefit from it.
Let that be a place where, particularly for council, I know that during COVID, we've had regular meetings with our federal delegation. So I think that's an area where we need to prioritize the advocacy around the reform of the Higher Education Act, because I agree with you. I think certificate upskilling programs, as well as converting part-time students, creating a pathway for them is important. Going back to the workforce development component of it, when we funded pre-K, it was with the notion that community college would be a significant partner and that we would utilize community college to help the workforce of the pre-K constituency, many women of color, right, and help them through this process of supporting children to also support them through their higher education needs, just so that their quality of life and work base would be provide some mobility. Can you tell me where we are with that?
Sure. So we started a apprenticeship program in partnership with 1199C. Those students, through experiential based learning, can parlay their experiences into college credit and get on a pathway into a teacher's ed certificate and degree. That program was recognized across the Commonwealth as a sort of model program, and the enrollment is increasing. And we just had, I don't know if Sam's on the call, but we just got certified nationally for an education. It's a national certification for that program. I can't remember the name of it. Sam, are you there? Call a friend. Is Sam there? We just went through.
I am here.
What was the certificate? Do you remember? Would you recall the name?
I'm going to look it up.
We'll get back to you.
Okay.
It's a national certification, and we had to go through, they had to look at our curriculum, our teacher training, our equipment, the facilities, and it's not easy to get, but we received it. It's the American something for early childhood.
NAEYC, it's a NACI accreditation.
So how much of that process with the 1199C was funded through the city's pre-K program, and what was the tie-in to those providers who are in our pre-K system?
Carol, do you know the specifics to that?
Sorry, I have a delay on my. I'm hopeful that you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, so actually a lot of the funding is coming from a state TEACH program. So they provide scholarships for individuals to go and enroll at CCP. And then I think 5% is paid by the employer and another 5% is paid by the individual. So I think it's 90% of the, I might be getting those exact numbers, the percentages, but the majority is paid by TEACH, and then there's a distribution across the employer and the individual. It might be 15 and 5, but we can confirm that for you.
So can you give us any early indications of what that has done for upward mobility for the folks who are going through that program? Can we see concretely them moving into better jobs, better paying jobs? Any data, you can forward that and send it to us. I'm going to continue to strongly encourage the administration to utilize community college for this purpose. In this pre-K space in particular, even during COVID, those centers, many of them remained open because they had to, because those families were essential workers and did not have the opportunity or the privilege to work from home. And I just want to make sure that we don't forget them in this mix, that part of our commitment through the pre-K process was ensuring that those women, again, had access to community college. So I will follow up. I've mentioned it to the administration and to our Deputy Mayor, Cynthia Figueroa, because that's how the program, many of us were told that was going to be one of the goals, and there was money allocated for it in the tunes of millions initially when the program was initially designed for that. My time is up. Look forward to, again, continuing to work with you. Appreciate you and your team for always being available. Look forward to your expanded footprint. I think that, again, we got to double down on it. I think we can't let COVID force us to pivot and not do that. I think ultimately our ability to move people out of poverty is going to be based on our ability to support community colleges expansion. So I look forward to our continued work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you to my colleague, Councilmember Quinona Sanchez, for talking about the importance of Community College of Philadelphia really being our workforce development arm here in the city. And I have to echo those sentiments because I remember even before being a staffer in council working at Pennsylvania Hospital, the nation's first hospital, and all of our nurses that we would get from community college, we were just so pleased. And the placement rate for the nursing program, I think, is stellar. So I have to echo those sentiments in talking about the importance of, the city to be able to reskill and upskill Philadelphians to move into these positions that we see in our labor market indicators here in Philly, particularly post-COVID. So I'm really excited, and you know this, Dr. Generals, I met with your team, and I wanted to thank Keisha Witherspoon for all of her help. But the Career and Advanced Tech Center, I think, will be vital to our ability to really help move individuals into new work sectors. And, you talked about in your testimony sort of a long list of CTE programs that will be offered at the Career and Advanced Tech Center. But I wanted to know if you could drill down on specifically any green jobs that will be available through the work there. I know we'll have advanced manufacturing. I think I heard something around bio advanced manufacturing, immuno or cell therapies. But if you could talk specifically about green jobs that will be available through the training programs at the Career and Advanced Tech Center.
Sure. So starting with the auto tech, we're building out components there for alternative fuels to move away from the traditional gasoline fuels. We're certainly building out our electric automobile platform, so students will be trained in electronic cars. There's research that says by the year 2030 there will be no more guzzling vehicles. So we're trying to train them for the future. We had fairly extensive conversations on solar technician installation that stopped during the pandemic, so we're hoping to be able to jumpstart those conversations again. We have right now we have solar panels on the west building, on our west building, that provides part of the energy for our labs. We built a brand new science lab, and it provides part of the electricity there. So there's the practical reason of providing the source of power, but more importantly, it's used as an educational device for students to understand, the alternatives to the traditional electric, mechanical, and water-based power sources. In our engineering, architectural, and construction building platform, we have a number of courses that deal with issues. I mean, these aren't necessarily at the CATSI Center, although they may, things evolve as we move along. But all of them have sustainability, green science, how to retrofit buildings, and how to prepare buildings for sustainable structure. And the building itself is designed to be a silver LEED building. So I think that provides us with teaching and learning opportunities for the students that will be there.
Well, that's good to hear, because I did also work on the LEED bill around the city's building energy performance policy, and also the LEED standards for new builds. So I thank you for that information. I also wanted to talk about the school district's Office of Post-Secondary Readiness, where you all work very closely with the district around post-secondary readiness. And one of my colleagues on the hearing earlier brought up the program where you all partner with the district to help young people when they graduate receive an associate's degree as well. So on the career and technical side of that, can you talk about any programs that you have with the district to help young people graduate with a certification in a particular field upon high school graduation, but also having maybe an associate's level certification from CCP?
We have, and I'm going to ask Dave Thomas to get back on. We have through the state, there's a program that allows CTE programs to be converted into college level credits, and those students receive certificates. But all the high school articulations are really through Dave's area. Dave, maybe you have some more precise answers than that.
Certainly. So yes, I want to underscore what you mentioned earlier, Dr. Jones, and that is you alluded to the Perkins articulations, right? So there are certain programs at the high school level in CTE that are articulated to programs at the college level. I know for many of our programs, and I don't know the exact list because I know we just got another most recent list of programs that have been articulated, but we definitely have numbers of programs probably within the teens, maybe like 20, maybe at the most, programs that are articulated back to the high school, where certain students, if they perform at certain levels in courses in the high school, they can enter the college with upwards to 12 or 15 credits already articulated towards that particular area. But in addition to that, we have been working with the district, and this kind of underscores one of the things that Dr. Height mentioned earlier. We have been working with the district around replicating models that are very similar to the Parkway Center City Middle College Initiative, right? Specific to CTE, so not just around the liberal arts degree. So that's what we're getting right now. Those students that graduate from Parkway earn a liberal arts associate's degree and their high school diploma. I think it's important also for us to know that that is not what I call a program. It's actually the school, right? So we actually changed that school where every student that enrolls in that school earns their high school diploma and their associate's degree when they graduate. So it's a very significant feat that I think that we did in partnership with the district, but also looking at how we can replicate that for students who really kind of know what it is they want to do. They may want to do something more STEM related, or they may want to do something, to your point, more CTE related. How can we build those sorts of programs and partnerships with other schools in the city and potentially create a CTE sort of model very similar to Parkway. So those conversations have been taking place. I think one of the things we wanted to do first is actually have a graduating class from Parkway first, so we can have some success points to point to. Now, I think what Dr. Hyde did mention is we'll be marching 90 students across their stage. We're actually hosting a graduation on our campus June 9th, who'll be walking away the first cohort from the school with their associate's degree in liberal arts. So we're happy to see that, and now our conversations have been ramping up with the district around what's the next model and where's the next school.
Well, I wanted to thank you for that, Dr. Thomas, and for your work, and also ask you how we can support those efforts, because I think, to your point, it's important for us to understand that when you all move into those types of partnerships with the school, it does change sort of the model of the school, which is where we've been trying to get to from a career and technical education standpoint with the district, to say, how are we realigning curriculum to ensure that we are preparing our young people for the opportunities that we see in the labor market indicators post-COVID in Philadelphia. So I heard the bell. I will come back on the next round, but I wanted to thank you for your work and ask you how we can support those efforts to expand those type of programs at Community College of Philadelphia for our young people to get directly into a career, because then you're creating a pathway, right? Now you're going directly into a career that is family supporting and sustaining. So thank you, Council President. I'll come back on the next round.
Hello, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I was multitasking. Thank you, Councilwoman. You done?
Yes, CP. I heard the bell, so I was going to come back on the next round if we have time.
Exactly. Councilwoman Sanchez, did you conclude your? Because nobody else is teed up. Councilwoman Sanchez, were you done with your testimony? Your question?
Yeah, no, I know that we have 44 people waiting to testify. So, and again, Dr. Generals and his entire team has been more than available to us. So we'll continue to do the work. You know, ultimately, as you know, the work gets done behind the scenes. But I just want him to publicly know how much we support and appreciate his entire team and the work that they do. Thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Richardson, did you have an additional question?
Sure, I can submit any additional questions we have, Council President, for the sake of time, but I also just wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Debonair Oates Primus at Community College of Philadelphia, who is doing amazing, incredible work in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space, and I just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you, Council President, and thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Dr. Generals, and your team.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I don't believe there are any other questions by members of the committee. So Dr. Generals and your team, Board Vice Chair, Hernandez Velez, again, good seeing you. I want to thank you so much for your presentation, and you're continuing to do great work. With that, we're going to take a break to give our technical support teams an opportunity to tee up public comment. I think we have around 44 individuals to testify tonight. So if you need to get a snack during the course of the break, do it now. Doctor, and all, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
You got it. We'll turn it over to our tech specialist.
Thank you.